Okay, so this is The Art of Painting by Vermeer. It can sometimes also be called The Artist in His Studio or The Allegory of Painting. And this is an art trope. So Rembrandt, for example, has his own artist in his studio. He also has a philosopher in his study. And just by looking at the painting, you can already tell that it's a contemplative work, right? You can see the artist looking upon the muse. Okay, which muse is it? It's the muse Clio. Clio is the muse of history. Why would an artist think of the art of painting, the contemplation of art, the contemplation of painting, and use the muse of history as his allegory? Well, I think that's because artists desire to make something that lasts, right? There's an art history um, argument or discussion, if you will, called the paragone, which is the comparison of the different mediums of art. Is poetry the best medium? Is architecture, is sculpture, is painting the best medium? What is the greatest nobility of art? And what is the highest accomplishment? Well, Vermeer here is saying that painting is, and why? Okay, well, first we know that this is Clio because Clio by Cesare Ripa in his Iconologia says, a young woman crowned with laurel, holding in her right hand a trumpet, in her left a book adorned with a star on her forehead, symbolizing the renown of deeds recorded by history. So you can already tell that he's emphasizing the renown, he's emphasizing the laurel, which history gives to those things that are noble and lasting, right? But you can also tell because of the style of Vermeer, right? So in the background, you see the Dutch lowlands, right? And what has just happened? Well, the Dutch Renaissance has just happened. And how did that happen? Well, all of these artists went to Italy and France, and they learned from their Renaissance. And one of those schools was the school of Caravaggio, where they learned chiaroscuro, or essentially the technique of manipulation of light. And so Vermeer is a master of light. Vermeer is often called the master of light. And now he is showing before us this contemplation of the muse of history. And what is he saying that lasts? Well, he's saying that the most lasting thing in history is the light. And so as the Christian looks at this, he can contemplate this and say to himself, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not comprehend it.